How many of you have ever had a problem with public speaking? Okay. Well, today I will be critiquing the movie The King's Speech. Now, in my own personal experience with public speaking, I too have had problems with speaking in front of an audience, whether it be me blanking out on words or just not being able to get to the next point. In the movie, the King of England has an extreme problem with public speaking. Now, this is an issue because you can't be the leader of a country and not be able to public speak. An example of this would be George W. Bush. Now, he was the 43rd president of the United States, and he came down and said that we had won the war in Iraq and it was all over. The fact that what ended up happening was that the war was not over, and the result of this was many people refusing to like George W. Bush anymore, and that was one of the reasons he did not get reelected. In the next couple of minutes, I will be discussing a brief synopsis of the movie, a critical review of the movie, and how the movie relates to public speaking. The movie The King's Speech takes place in England right around World War II. It follows the story of King George V, who is going to end up becoming the king. The only problem is that he has a terrible stammering problem, and he cannot public speak. He enlists the help of a speech therapist named Lionel. Lionel is very unorthodox and teaches King George V how to speak, whether it be by, going outside and shouting or trying to get back to his childhood past and finding different ways how to make him able to speak better in public. In the conclusion of the movie, he has to make a speech that is declaring war between England and Germany in front of the whole entire country. With the help of Lionel, they are able to complete the speech, and he does a very good job. Overall, King George faces his fears, and however, when looking at a movie like The King's Speech, it is important to be more critical and be able to write a critical review of the movie. A negative aspect of the movie I did not like was Helena Bonham Carter's performance. She's usually in movies like Fight Club, Alice in Wonderland, and Sweeney Todd, and she plays a very weird character. In this movie, she plays the Queen of England, and it's clear that she really just doesn't fit in. However, besides the character of Helena Bonham Carter, I did enjoy the movie, and I enjoyed it because it took a very powerful man and it was able to make him seem more human. For instance, his connection with Lionel, his speech teacher. They're able to build a connection between each other, a mutual respect, and they're able to build his public speaking up. Because of this and the view that they show between each other, it's easy to see that the king is just like us. And, even rich people and people with power, at the end of the day, they have the same problems as everyone else. The only difference is that they have more money. In my opinion, the King's Speech does a very good job in making even the most powerful men seem common and normal. But it's also interesting to see how the movie connected with our public speaking class. Throughout the movie, I could not help but to think how much of a relation it had to our public speaking class. Whether it be King George's fear of being in front of a large crowd and not being able to speak and not being able to calm himself down. Furthermore, the king also has a problem with pronunciating his words in front of a large crowd because he has to be able to be heard from the front of an audience to the back of the audience. And that's something that him and Lionel practice many times. This relates to our class, our speech class, because I too and everyone else might have problems with public speaking and might be scared to public speak. Ways to face this fear is to practice a lot before or take pauses and calm yourself down while in the speech. Another thing is, in our speech class, they teach you to speak loudly and clearly so everyone can hear you. As I finish up this movie review, in which I discussed a brief synopsis of the story, a critical review of the story, and how it relates to the public speaking class, I learned a lot of information. I cannot help but to think how great of a movie The King's Speech really was. It taught me how it further helped me to speak in front of an audience, and yet it took a very powerful man and was able to make him human. For all of you guys, for all of you in the audience who have raised your hand in the beginning of the speech, who said they had problems with public speaking, I highly suggest you watch this movie. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy.